Hello there! November is a beast of a month for new games. The Christmas rush begins and so many video games are vying for your attention. Like usual, I've looked through all the offerings to recommend the best games at all price ranges, including 3 free games. Thanks to Nacon for sponsoring this video. We'll be looking at the latest installment in the long-running Warhammer 40k series later in the video. You ready? Let's do this. Like I could start anywhere else, God of War Ragnarök is finally here. Following on from 2018's Game of the Year, in which Greek demigod Kratos travels to the Norse realm to escape the horrors of his past. Father and son Kratos and Atreus are pursued by the vengeful Freya and the god of thunder himself, Thor. Reviewers have already told us Ragnarök builds on every element of the previous game: improved visuals, evolved combat, deeper story, and impactful RPG elements. For example, Kratos' shield changes the way we play. The Dauntless shield rewards those with perfect parrying timing, whereas the Stone Wall shield is designed to absorb attacks until it can be used against enemies. The weapons, the armor, and the runes we choose will all change the way we play. If you need a story recap, I'll have one later this week, and there's a super simple recap option in Ragnarok's main menu, to be doubly sure. Do your best to avoid spoilers. God of War Ragnarök releases on PS4 and PS5 on Wednesday, November the 9th. For those who want something less serious, may I recommend Goat Simulator 3. Wow, where do I start? Goat Simulator is a sandbox game, crammed full of secrets and hidden activities to find everywhere, while stringing a combo together like a Tony Hawk game, yet breaking things is the metric. The game's official description is equally as weird and wonderful. Expect events, NPCs to mess with, physics, status effects, collectibles, Easter eggs, lies, betrayal, and heartbreak. We've already seen more customization in their trailer than most games have at all. And look, we can drive vehicles, and we can be a rhino. And should you be tempted to play Goat Simulator 2, you should know that it doesn't exist. The devs wanted to go from 1 to 3 just to mess with you. Goat Simulator 3 allows 4-player cooperative play, which is great as this is a budget game. It only costs $30, €30 or £25 here in my homeland. Look out for it on November 17th on PS5, Xbox Series and PC. Any Sonic the Hedgehog fans in the house? Have you seen Sonic Frontiers? A 3D action platformer which takes the blue blur into the open world genre. After jumping through a wormhole and being separated from his friends, Sonic is stuck on this island. The over-the-top soundtrack and the neon colour backdrops have been replaced with mystery. Somber piano music plays as Sonic explores his new world. It's a total tonal shift from previous games. Sonic now has puzzles to solve, from moving statues to reveal a secret, to completing rhythm tasks, or simply racing from point A to point B. The variation is welcome, as too is a new combat system, which reminds me of a Dragon Ball fight. Sonic's homing attacks take him up close and he can throw fists, and his dodge attack and parries keep him safe. There are world bosses to find and defeat, and look at the size of these guys. It's like Shadow of the Colossus. Sonic Frontiers is a full-price game releasing on November 8th on the PlayStation, Xboxes and PC. Oh, and Switch too. Nice. Next, Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr. I've teamed up with Nacon to showcase the Ultimate Edition coming to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. A top-down action RPG in which we are tasked with purging the Chaos Scourge. The original game released in 2018, I remember running the Assassin class, good times. And now Inquisitor Martyr and all 25 plus DLCs are coming to next gen. 4K visuals are fully supported thanks to updated textures, cross-gen multiplayer is confirmed if you prefer a squad by your side, and also a local co-op mode has been added exclusively for the PS5 and Xbox Series X. There are 4 classes to choose from: the tanky nature and freedom of the Crusader, the glass cannon of the Assassin, the Psyker with an insane number of powers to harness and conjure, and finally the Tech Adept, which summons deadly beings to fight alongside. There's a class to suit everyone. If fast-paced tactical combat is your thing, surrounded by the mystique of the 40k universe, look out for Inquisitor Martyr Ultimate Edition from October 27th. And look, there's a link in the description too. Righto, let's talk about this month's free-to-play games. Without a doubt, the big one is Call of Duty Warzone version 2.0. The Battle Royale game, which once rivaled Apex and Fortnite, is having a facelift and many changes are coming, including a new game mode. On the Battlefield side of things, there is a new map, Al-Mazrah, which looks to be filled with new locations, yet look a little bit closer and you'll see they are places we have visited in the Modern Warfare series to date. Warzone 2.0 adds swimming and underwater combat as a core mechanic, a new gulag system and a new zonal system. Looting has been refined and it's more like PUBG these days, and AI soldiers are now present on the map and protect rare loot and high-level weapon loadouts. Warzone 2.0 also adds a brand new mode named DMZ, and if you've played Tarkov, you'll know what this is. You and your squad go into a hostile zone with one thing in mind: to extract loot. If you're eliminated in the game, you lose the loot you are holding. So it's risk versus reward. What do you take in, knowing that you may not come back out with it? Once Modern Warfare 2 fully releases, more info about Warzone 2.0 will follow. The full release hits us on November the 16th. The second free game is Gundam Evolution, a class-based first-person shooter which starts off feeling a lot like Overwatch 1, but there's enough tweaks to make it its own game in its own right. Like this, everyone has a mech suit equipped with a jetpack. Use it to fly, hover, sprint or dash, and you'll soon find that each suit has more or less of that jetpack ability, depending on the general class and type you choose. Matches are 6 versus 6, and team synergy is the core element to winning matches. Building a team of tanks to take damage and lead the way forward, adding a DPS unit to hit the opposition with as many bullets as possible, and all of that backed up by support units that heal. Oh, and instead of a kill cam, Gundam Evolution uses a down but not out mechanic, which lets teammates be rezzed by other members of the squad. This means while you are downed, you can ping enemy positions and still help your team. I quite like that. With 12 Gundam suits available right away and more to be unlocked, could Evolution rival Overwatch 2? Gundam Evolution comes to console on November 30th with a big push for new content coming in December, and I'll be sure to tell you about that next month. Back onto full price games. Well, in fact, a few reduced price games. So $40, €40, £35. And something more fitting for the Halloween season. Take a look at The Devil in Me, the 4th installment of the Dark Pictures anthology, which is the spiritual successor of the brilliant Until Dawn. Like the other episodes in this series, The Devil in Me is effectively an interactive drama in which we choose our own adventure. Set in a creepy hotel as a group of documentary makers visit a replica of a serial killer's home. What could go wrong? Each decision branches the path of the story, and it's highly likely 2 playthroughs will have completely different conclusions. Devil in Me releases on November 18th on PlayStation, Xbox and PC. If you want something closer in time to Halloween and with more hands-on gameplay, check out The Chant. Travelling to an island that feeds on negativity, we play as Jess as she faces her spiritual enlightenment face-on. Combining survival, action and exploration, our playthrough is impacted by dialogue choices and actions. As the story continues, it's time to really understand what secrets the island holds. The Chant releases on November 3rd on PS5, Xbox Series and PC. Here's a game for your inner vampire hunter, Evil West, a third-person action-adventure set in the 18th century filled with vampires, and you play as a character who's like a cowboy Van Helsing named Jesse. The combat is a mixture of gun wielding and melee, and essentially you are a one-man army progressing to the epicenter of this vampire issue. Along the way, RPG elements show their face as your weapon and character can be adapted through skill trees and upgrade paths. All the action is then broken up by environmental puzzles. November 22nd, if that's your thing, on PlayStation, Xbox and PC. There are so many more games coming in November. Here's a quick shout out to a few. Miles Morales is finally coming to PC on November 18th with a completely different skill set to Peter Parker's Spider-Man. So if you have a PC that isn't a potato, I recommend it. Resident Evil lovers, you should know that RE-verse, the new game mode, is here on October 28th, letting anyone who has bought Village over the last year to play it completely for free, fighting other real-life people playing survivors of the legendary series. Hands off Jill Valentine. And of course, there's a new generation of Pokemon arriving this month. Shame I'm not supposed to talk about it here. I just need help choosing between Scarlet and Violet. Help me with that, please. If you're still here at this point, thank you so much for your time. I'm Adam, you're awesome. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you next time.